Targeted home visiting is an effective way to help parents develop healthy relationships with their children. Helping all babies and families in Minnesota get the right start for optimal brain development is important for our future. Research supports the relationship between lack of nurturing in infancy and poor brain development.
Developmental delays in childhood are much more common among children who have a lot of adversity or stressors in their lives. The Adverse Childhood Experiences Study was designed to look at childhood contributors or childhood origins of major public health and social problems. And what we chose to study were 10 different categories of stressors, childhood stressors, that can affect human development and especially brain development.
What we know is that if we look at children who are growing up in very challenging environments where there are a lot of different risk factors, being the child of a teenage mother, being born into deep poverty, having parents who are alcohol or drug abusers, as we begin to add them up, 80 to 100% of those babies by age 3 have fallen behind on normal developmental growth, which means that their brains are not developing well. So by 18 months, in terms of language learning being one of our best predictors of how well a child will do in school and whether they'll graduate from high school, we can see those groups diverging. By 36 months, the difference is marked and we see the achievement gap that we attribute to what's happening in school. It's there well before the kids are getting to school.
Targeted home visiting supports families in the community experiencing many of these risk factors.
Hi, Seville.
Kelly was an adolescent mother who was affected by many of these risk factors.
I had him when I was 13, and I ended up getting put out of my mom's house, and there was a lot of back and forth between me and my mom. We went to shelter, then to foster care, back to my mom's, to my dad's, to my friends, to my aunts, to shelter.
A comprehensive and effective response is needed to address this critical situation if we are to improve the chances for success of Minnesota families in need.
There are institutions, there are organizations that are preparing themselves for a generation of young people who have been failed by our system. As a community, as a city, as a nation, we have to prevent that from happening. And if someone doesn't come along and say we need to revamp our system, then our children will either die or go to prison.
Hi, Paula. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Targeted home visiting provides pregnant and parenting families with a home visitor, teaching them about healthy pregnancies, nurturing infant care, child development, discipline, and community resources. This relationship-based approach provides support and a role model for parents who have little experience. Andrea was happy to have this support.
I hate to think about that, but I do often wonder, could I have turned out to be like my father if I didn't have that, if I didn't have somebody that I could talk to on a weekly basis about my pressures of being a mom and pressures of my past.
Results show that infants and children receiving home visits are thriving. These numbers reflect the changes that are occurring in the lives of young families.
It's one of the most amazing experiences that I've had in my life, to see these young women in situations that really do look hopeless, and to have them kind of tap into something special, knowing that they're going to succeed because they're doing it for their child, breaking cycles and breaking patterns, and they commit to that, knowing that it doesn't have to be the same for their child. And so they go through tough situations, but knowing that there's going to be a positive outcome, not only just for themselves, but for their babies as well.